What's going on, everyone? Trust the Buzz here if you're new to the channel. I make Charlotte Hornets content, so if that interests you, make sure you go ahead and hit that subscribe button down below. At the time of me recording this video, I'm at 702. I'm only 298 away from the big 1K, so help me out. I'm trying to provide as much Charlotte Hornets content as I can. Don't know why I picked up this pen, but I'm trying to provide as much Charlotte Hornets content as I can for those of you who are Charlotte Hornets fans and who want to all be miserable together. Let's talk hoops. Let's talk Charlotte Hornets. And yeah, so go ahead and help me out by hitting the subscribe button. Also, if you cannot tell by the thumbnail title of this video, in today's video, we're going to be talking about the future of Gordon Hayward. Now, I've kind of had this video on the back burner for a while now, just haven't recorded it and really didn't even know how to approach it. But my thoughts, a lot of this is, I wouldn't say heavily influenced, but it is influenced by the performance Gordon Hayward had tonight. And if you don't know when I'm recording this video, I'm recording this video after the comeback win against the Knicks, where Gordon Hayward had 23 points, 9 rebounds, and 8 assists. I think he had a fantastic game. He made some clutch shots. He played some clutch defense, because the turnaround point in that game was Gordon Hayward contesting an RJ Barrett shot, and RJ Barrett dropped the ball before Gordon Hayward even contested the shot. So therefore, the Hornets got the ball back, and then they went on a run from there. So what I want to say is, basically, what is the future of Gordon Hayward with this team? I mean, I don't really know. This is kind of me talking it through with y'all, and then y'all let me know what you think down in the comment section below. But if the Charlotte Hornets plan to be good next year, so let's say they get back Miles Bridges, which more than likely that will happen, it seems. If they get back Miles Bridges, you have Mark Williams, who ever since Mark Williams has been starting, I think this team is top 5 in defensive efficiency. I mean, PJ Washington, you still will hopefully retain. You got LaMelo Ball, Terry Rozier. I mean, Gordon Hayward at the 3. And then you have you would have Nick Richards as the backup center. You would have Bryce McGowan's. Who knows who we're going to draft? I mean, that's something to think about there. Who knows who we're going to draft? But I mean, I think there's room for Gordon Hayward is my point. I don't think it really matters as far as who we get in the offseason, unless we're trading for a superstar or something, which that's not the Charlotte Hornets MO. I don't foresee that happening. But if we were to do that, that's why Gordon Hayward wouldn't be here. But I don't see them offloading him as just like an expiring contract. The reason I say that is, if the team wants to be good, it would be in their best interest to keep him. Because if you want to be good next year, if you want to be around 500, close to 500, I think the Charlotte Hornets next year, more than likely they'll be around where the Hawks and Raptors are now, so that like are hovering around 500. Now, where that will be in the East, I don't know. Is kind of my point, but I think they'll be around that 500 mark. Now, like, the East will change, so I don't know if will 500 get you the 6th seed or 500 get you the 10th seed next year. I have no idea, but I think they'll be around that area if they choose to win. Now, if they start trading people like Terry Rozier, Gordon Hayward, then obviously everything I just said goes out the window. But if they want to win, they keep Gordon Hayward, because what's the point of offloading him unless it's at trade deadline and the season's not going how you want? What's the point of trading him for a 2nd-round pick when you can keep Gordon Hayward? He has games like this every now and then you're going into a playing situation with a healthy Gordon Hayward, a healthy team overall. I mean, we would hope. I like my chances of just keeping Gordon Hayward in that situation. But like I said, it just depends on what direction the team wants to go. I will say that I feel like the team is prioritizing picks in this draft. They know this draft is deep. They know this draft. I think sometimes people confuse the depth of this draft. They confuse it with, you can get a superstar in the 60th pick. That's not what I mean by this draft is deep. Well, that I just mean you have good quality players all up and down this draft. You have players that can help in some way. I don't think there's some guys. My point is, I think there's going to be guys who go undrafted who end up being pretty good, in my opinion. That's just how I feel. And I think they're prioritizing this draft, but you could still draft, keep Gordon Hayward on top of that, and then just save those guys for minutes. So, like, for example, Gordon Hayward gets injured. Why not use some of those guys you drafted to kind of take those minutes off Gordon Hayward? Take those minutes off a lot of guys. And I know this team is not good enough to just sit guys, but Gordon Hayward is a guy, if you want to be good, if you want to be ready by time the play-in comes, you would want Gordon Hayward healthy. So therefore, you have to get him off the court at times. That's where you bring in these young guys who can still fill in, because you're not bringing in guys like JT Thor. I'm sorry. I love JT Thor. I think he still needs some development, but you're not bringing in guys like him for those Gordon Hayward minutes. You're not bringing in guys like Kai Jones for those Gordon Hayward minutes. And at this point in time, you're not bringing in guys like Bryce McGowan's yet. I think Bryce McGowan's can do it. I just haven't seen it yet, but I know all the talent's there. I don't know who they're going to draft, but you could use some of those guys to take off those Gordon Hayward minutes. You keep Gordon Hayward, and then boom, you're playing for a playoff spot. I think it's very possible. I think the East, it's going to be in a tough situation because I don't think that he can do much to change besides play harder. I don't think they have any way to maneuver cap. You got Duncan Robinson and Kyle Lowry on your team. I don't think there's anything you can do as far as cap space and getting new players. You have the Hawks, who I think they'll just get better. I think it's just taking time. You got a new coach. I think Quinn Snyder's a great coach. And I think it's just going to take some guys just getting used to each other. So I'm not really using this year to project it onto next year. I think the Wizards are just going to still be the Wizards. I don't foresee that changing. Who else? The Raptors. To my knowledge, I don't think they've dealt with too many injuries, so I think they're just having a bad year. I do expect them to turn it around, but not enough to where if the Hornets are around 500, the Raptors are like the 4 seed or anything like that. So there's a good chance that if you keep Gordon Hayward, Gordon Hayward is someone you have to load manage. I know it sounds crazy, but you're going to have to if you want to win. I think it can be done. In reality, I think that they just break it all down and kind of wait to build it back up. I just not sure about that because we know that the Charlotte Hornets don't like to make moves during the regular season. I mean, they made very weak moves here, but they traded Jalen McDaniels away for basically nothing, for like a second-round pick. Mason Plumlee, a second-round pick. Now, for Mason Plumlee, he might could argue expiring, older guy, not really a starting caliber center, but Jalen McDaniels is very talented. So there's no reason for him to only get you a second round pick. I don't care if he's an expiring deal. I don't care if you had to choose between PJ and Jalen. There's no way you should only got 1 second round pick for Jalen McDaniels, who just recently in his first NBA start, but his first start for the 76ers dropped 20. So I don't really trust their ability to trade and get back value. So why not just keep him? If you got Miles Bridges back, if you get a Scoot or Victor or Brandon Miller, I mean, I think this team is just going to be good enough. I think they're going to be good enough to be in that realm where you're actually playing for something at this time next year. So why not keep Gordon Hayward? Now, I know it sounds crazy. It would be easier to trade him for sure, 110%. But in reality, I think they're just going to keep him unless something goes awry about a trade deadline next year. I think they just keep him and ride it out. I think you can make it, even if you're the 11, depending on the difference, but even if you're the 11 seed and you're only 1 game behind the 6 seed, because it can get that tight. It's almost that tight in the West. I think they'll still keep him because they have a shot. We know that this team, if they think they even have a sliver of a chance, they're going to go for it. And that's kind of been their downfall. Like you normally appreciate that quality, but that's really been their downfall these last couple of years. But let me know what you think down in the comment section below. I've opened up because I've always said I like Gordon Hayward on the court. He just can rarely stay on the court. But if you go into this draft, you get a couple of guys who are able to contribute and just, even if they have to do it by committee, if they're just able to contribute to help load manage Gordon Hayward, and then you go into the play-in next year, you have a real chance. I really do believe you have a real chance to actually make the playoffs. But we'll see. I mean, there's a lot in between now and then, but I just want to bring that to y'all attention. Just let me know what you think down in the comment section below. And I'll see you guys next time. Peace.